Lexi Zeiss will get things going for the LSU Tigers. Number 2 in the nation they are on this event.
I was talking to Lexi yesterday, and she said, I was so nervous during the semifinals. I was just calming myself down. Yurchenko 1.5, clean, hop forward. She said, they called me the fire starter. Sometimes it's a lot of pressure, and I can understand.
And looking over at Mary Jo, it looks like a step, and that low shoulders could be a double deduction there, unfortunately, for Lily Peterson. Here's Ariana Ostrom. The Golden Gophers, they got to keep hitting. Maybe get some help from those top teams in the form of some mistakes, but most importantly, control what you can control, and that's his team routine right now.
Well, Ariana is the 4th Gopher ever to win Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Has had such a big responsibility in just her freshman year, especially leading off beam at the national championship. Looks calm, cool, and collected to me.
Leading off with the Gators on floor exercise, right hand of your screen. Gabby Dizador. The Gators a little over 2/10 behind, remember. The leading team, the Oklahoma Sooners. We have seen them come back from 2/10 in one rotation. They have 3, so they're fine, but gotta hit.
Finishing with a stuck landing. That's how Minnesota wants to start on beam for sure.
Gabby, Dizador showing nice control on that landing.
Lexi Zeiss led off for LSU with a 9.8375.
Gabby using these moments right here to breathe and relax, center herself before her tumbling pass. She's going to do a 1.5 front layout. Watch her arms fly out to the side in the layout. Good start for Florida.
They had a great start on the balance beam as well. Got to keep that rolling. This is moments ago on the vault. It's Connor McClain.
She's got a smorgasbord of issues on the right side of her body, according to coach. So this is a gritty vault. Yurchenko full. Rocks it. That is an exclamation point.
That's a smorgasbord of awesomeness, Sam Pesek.
Well, she hits the table so hard, gets so high off the air. You see a little leg separation, but we'll see what the judges saw where they're sitting.
The freshman Ella Murphy in the 2 spot for Oklahoma.
You'll notice Ella's toe point. That really sets her apart. This pirouette right on top of the bar. Judges actually allow for a 20-degree window, but she was very vertical.
Wow.
The one thing with Ella's routine is sometimes she doesn't stick it. She did today.
Absolutely, Allie.
And she's just a freshman. OU's freshmen actually account for 30% of the routines this season, so it's extra impressive.
And watch the shoulder position all the way open, horizontal in the backswing, elbows extended when she catches the bar, and way to stick when it counted. We often say sticks are contagious. Coach Kindler, yes, in the semifinals called it a fire starter. So I'm going to predict we're going to see more stuck dismounts from Oklahoma off bars.
Yeah, and we saw that step from Lily Peterson. I don't want to overstate that deduction, but that was a leadoff routine. She sticks that, and she's at a 9.95 at least in the leadoff spot. Sam, you mentioned how important 9.9s are in the leadoff spot. Maybe let that 10th slip away. That would have maybe set up that rest of the bar rotation. Still some great gymnastics to go, but that was a big moment.
Yeah, that 2/10 lead after the first event, I think, has really given them a breath of fresh air. They can compete free, and that's what head coach KJ Kindler said is the team that's going to win the national championship.
Danny Ferris now in the 2 spot for the Florida Gators. 9.8625 for Dizador.
Danny's going to open up with a full twisting double back. No movement of that front foot. Most of the time these athletes are competing at the same time as other crowd cheering really loudly. Danny going to finish with the same ending that we saw from Gabby. It was smart to dance out of that tumbling pass to give the illusion of more control. Hopefully the judges won't take a deduction for that.
Nicely done from Danny Ferris. You mentioned it, other gymnastics going on. You can see every routine. Go to the ESPN app. Some of the best in the business. Kennedy Baker, Bridget Sloan, Trinity Thomas, Anastasia Webb bringing you every routine. So don't be tweeting us later that you didn't get to see your favorite gymnast. You have the chance to do it. All right, balance beam, Minnesota Golden Gophers. Sarah Murrah, the third gymnast following a 9-9. Could this be a little bit of a run for the Gophers?
Yeah, Ava had such a good and solid routine, and something that stands out to me about this Minnesota team on beam is their composure. Watch how secure they are in their landings. They have so much confidence when they plant their feet on the beam.
Back-to-back freshman for Oklahoma. Here's Mackenzie Estep.
And Mackenzie has had an incredible freshman year. Watch the way she catches this release move. She's going to go to the high bar, and she's going to do what's called a blind change. She's going to try to land the pirouette on top of the bar, connected immediately into a dismount. Excellent.
Well, you said it. Sticks are contagious. Curious how many they're going to get from here on out. We saw that happen with this Oklahoma team in the semifinals.
How about that? Back-to-back freshman routines right there. Probably going to be 2 9-9s. And I talked to KJ Kindler yesterday, and she said they've got the #1 recruiting class in the country coming in. I mean, talk about a formidable foe. The rest of the country just got to be pulling their hair out.
Sarah, good routine, slight balance check after her series, but other than that, it was solid. The important thing on balance beam is to stay on the beam, have solid routines, and so you can build those momentum.
Connor McClain, a 9.8875 in the 2 spot for LSU. Victoria Roberts, a 9.875 in the 3 spot. Now in the 3 spot for the Florida Gators on floor exercise, MJ Frazier. They are flirting with the 9-9. The scores are building. That's what you want. But now in the middle of the lineup, if you're a team like Florida, 9-9s are better what you need.
Yeah, John, MJ got a 9.9375 in semis.
Leah Lincoln, left hand of your screen. Big time air on this vault she's about to do.
She stuck it in the semifinal. Watch how high she gets off the table. When she does it well, she waits to twist, and that helps her stick the landing. Oh, man. She has an under rotation. That's an up to 1/10 deduction in addition to the step.
And I will say, Sam, we've seen some very good vaults. That was a very good vault. We've seen some under-rotated vaults that were very nice, but the judges are very happy to take. You said up to 1. They love to take 1. I feel like they'll take 1 and a little tip at the end if they have the opportunity.
Yeah. And now all these teams are chasing Oklahoma, especially looking at what they're scoring on bars right now.
Yeah, E-step a 9.9375.
Surprised if that wasn't a 9-9 from MJ. She had a phenomenal semi day and placed 3rd in the all-around.
MJ, a transfer from Cal after last year. Their coaches moved on from Cal to Clemson, and she moved on from Cal to Florida and been a great addition to that team. Now the NCAA beam champion from 2 days ago. This is Brooklyn Rory.
Starting off that handspring layout, nicely done. It's been 36 years since Minnesota has won a national championship title, and Brooklyn has broken that drought by becoming the 2026 national beam champion. If you're curious who won that championship title in 1990, it's John Roethlisberger's sister, Marie Roethlisberger. She was the only national championship title in history before this year, and I was told this team looks at her banner every day and draws inspiration from it. And to see what's possible for Minnesota gymnastics in the future.
Well, I'll tell you what, there was a little boy growing up that looked to her for inspiration as well, and that was me.
Well, I know she's looking and watching this team and is very proud because it means so much to this team. They get the opportunity to continue her legacy tonight.
How about that? Man, she could work some bars too. Never mind that right foot. It's pointed. You just can't tell. But she was incredible, man. If we had more time, I'd tell you all about her. Amari Drayton, the 5th gymnast to go. 9-8 for Lincoln. Again, judges took everything they could on that vault. The moral of the story, do not under-rotate your vaults at this championships. You will get hit.
She could not try too hard to stick this. And she did. One step forward. You see that mat sliding. It's kind of like in golf. If you force the swing, you end up messing up your timing.
That's a great analogy. I just put it into the neighboring fairway is what I do, and you're absolutely right. Sky Blakely follows MJ Frazier's getting closer, Allie, to that 9-9. It was a 9.8875.
And watch this tumbling pass. So difficult, and that was perfect. We don't see any other front handspring double fronts in this competition. That's the type of tumbling pass that you see at the Olympic Games. So difficult.
It's a little off balance on that leap connection. We can't stress enough the amount of adrenaline that is running through these athletes' bodies. They're doing such a good job of making it look easy, but what's actually happening on the inside is chaos.
Sam, that's so right. Gymnastics is a unique sport where I don't think it's good to have adrenaline. You just want to feel calm and relaxed. So much easier said than done, though, when you know you're trying to win a national championship. That's going to be a big score from Florida.
Will that get them across the 9? Barrier. Why is it 9-9 important? Sky Blakely, such a great athlete, great inspiration, great human being. We'll be hopefully watching her this summer at the U.S. Championships as she makes a return to elite gymnastics again. Did compete at the World Championships last fall and trying to make that 2028 Olympic team. Here's Lauren Pearl, the senior on beam.
I actually trained with Lauren when I was competing. We trained together for many years, so I've known her for a very long time. This is a big test for her. Nice. Actually, about a week ago, Lauren fell. We call it a beam bite. You may be able to see when she turns around, she has a big bruise on her leg. Fell on that exact skill that we just saw. It takes so much mental toughness to get back up on the beam. Our coaches used to tell us to pretend that you're trying to break the beam, hit it so hard, be so aggressive, just like Lauren's doing. She just has to take it one skill at a time. Unfortunately, dipped her shoulder in her arm. Has to rise her hips for the dismount.
Man, great routine, Allie, and just a little bit, gave away a little bit there at the end. Kayla DiCello follows Sky Blakely's 9.9125. Those two athletes shared the podium at a World Championships in the all-arounds.
Really big full in to get things started. And see how she just had so much control when she placed that back leg down for the lunge. That is a perfect landing.
Good form from Kayla DiCello on floor.
The noise and the chaos. Faith Torres, the senior, the all-around champ at these NCAAs, is going following Caitlin Smith's 9.9.
Oklahoma's that team that's just chipping away.
Oh, and they wanted that stuck landing.
Looked like she let go of the bar too early. She needed to hold on a little bit longer. Could be up to 1/10 deduction for that step.
And that was a great bar rotation, and this is going to sound nitpicky, but when you're the best team of the last decade, you set the standards high. Lily Peterson's step at the beginning and Faith Torres' step at the end. That's a couple of tenths, man, as we go through this meet. Those are big.
It's interesting. I'm hearing from some of the athletes, the bounce at the high bar, they said feels a little bit different and off, and I think that's why we're seeing not a lot of stuck landings. And the same thing in semifinals. We didn't see a lot of stick dismounts.
Let's go over to floor exercise and Taylor Davis.
Selena Harris-Miranda getting ready to go here on floor for Florida. You all called attention to the adrenaline, the energy. It's interesting to see how these teams are harnessing it differently. Florida has remained very poised, very normal. Selena Harris-Miranda, she was just eating a Snickers bar, if that tells you anything. LSU really feeding off the energy. They have purple shakers down here. They've been dancing the entire time. Different approaches to a high-intensity moment.
Well, I did just say a big deep breath from Selena before she started, so maybe that's her routine.
I spoke to Selena yesterday at practice, and she told me she was more nervous than usual for the semifinals. She reminded me she's actually never competed in this competition in the finals before. She's also a senior, so there's a lot of emotions for her in this moment right here.
Florida cannot catch Oklahoma on this routine. We're still waiting for Faith Torres' score to come in, but they can close the gap. You can see down there, 0.2625. Love all the numbers behind the decimal place, but that is how far behind Oklahoma they are right now. LSU just 1/10 back as the Faith Torres score comes in, 9.875.
Selena's gotten 4 9.975s in her career, so she's certainly capable of a big score. Watch the jump out of this.
It's rare to get a perfect 10 at this meet because there's more judges in the regular season, but we just saw it with Kaylin Chio on vault, and if Selena gets a perfect 10 on floor, it'll be her first gym slam. That means she's already gotten a perfect 10 on all the events.
So it's now or never because she's not coming back to floor. This is her final competition. I don't think it's going to be a 10, but if it's higher than a 9.8625, that will increase Florida's team total and close that gap between them and Oklahoma.
I think she'll certainly get that 9.862 score. It's hard to get a 10. You got to get a 10 from 5 judges.
Yeah, it really is, and that's a testament to Kaylin Chio's vault.
Speaking of people and athletes that need one more 10 to get that gym slam is also Kaylin Chio heading to bars. She did break the 10 record in a season with our very own Trinity Thomas. The only athlete that has ever scored more 10s in one season is Kyla Ross. And if Kaylin gets one more, she ties with Kyla Ross at 14.
Not going to come easy today. As much as she made that vault look easy all season long, it's not. We had a conference on balance beam for Lauren Pearl's routine. The judges still having a little conversation. You can see them on the other side of Jordan Lyden, who's about to go having some conversations.
Now it's really important to use that time wisely because you don't want any doubt to creep in mentally before you salute the judges. The goal of balance beam is to mount the beam in a confident way, and that's actually what I heard from this Minnesota team that Maya Hooten, their assistant coach, brings to this beam squad is how confident she makes them feel before they approach the beam.
And Sam, also this arena today feels really cold. It may actually feel extra cold, so it's really hard when you're waiting, standing up there, you're nervous to keep your body warm, but also mentally fresh.
But no issues for Jordan Lyden. She is so icy when I watch her compete. There's no stressful or strenuous movements. Everything looks smooth. And then she lands very calmly, dances into those transitions effortlessly. This could be a really big score for Minnesota if she sticks the landing. And they needed that because Lauren Pearl got a 9.4375. That was basically like a fall in their lineup. So Minnesota's still in this, especially with when Jordan Lyden's score comes in.
Yeah, that felt like a meat-saving routine.
100%.
You know, they're already at a deficit of about 3/10, a little over 3/10 after the last rotation. So you think, hey, we can't just be okay. We've got to be great. And to count a score in the 9.4s would have just been catastrophic. So Lyden in a clutch moment for the Golden Gophers. And what a season it's been. They got a new training facility up there in Minneapolis and landings, right?
This is the most important event for Florida. I agree, John. Watch the landings. They have got to stick at least 50%. That's my prediction. Starting off with the Yurchenko 1.5. Oh, man, not only was that one step, but that was a step and really a slide forward. That's probably going to be 2/10 deduction for the uncontrolled landing.
And Mary Jo, our rules analyst, holding up the 2 fingers there, a 2/10 landing. Do not want that. Lexi Zeiss in the leadoff spot now for LSU. This is where it gets interesting for them as well. You think great on floor, great on vault. Now the test, bars and beam to finish.
And Lexi owns this leadoff spot. She's been leading off since freshman year.
Tends to elevate when the lights come on, and she does it again.
And they needed that. LSU stuck 1 out of 6 bar dismounts in the semifinals.
She is a worker. You gotta love Lexi Zeiss and her fire. Now Addison Feda, one of the best all-arounders in the nation. You think she's gonna contend for an all-around? Hurts her hand between regionals and nationals. This is her only event. She's become a specialist, but man, what an important routine here leading off.
Starting off back handspring layout, and she's got a handspring, so you gotta imagine how much it hurts just to put pressure on the beam from that back handspring. But you can tell just by the way that she's dancing and how aggressive she is that she's locked in here.
Lacey Saltzman from Minnesota leading off right hand of your screen. Sam, we talked about it in the semifinals. To go from an all-arounder to one event is hard enough. Get that rhythm in. But also, I got to think, you mentioned the hand, putting it on the beam. It's such a fine-tuned event. One little thing like that could seem like such a huge distraction.
Yeah, that's why you got to lean on heart. You got to lean on grit, and you got to lean on willpower. And Addison Feda does that well. She's consistent, she's steady, and unfortunately she didn't stick that dismount, just didn't quite get the push she needed for a stuck landing there, but no issues or wobbled on the beam.
Well, I was about to say it, like Lily Peterson leading off bars, we're looking at a 9-9 to open, but a huge under rotation and hop, I think, is going to take that opportunity away, unfortunately for Addison Feda.
Yeah, little things, but these teams are opening the door.
Lexi Zeiss led off with a 9.925 as Lacey Saltzman finishes up on floor for Minnesota. Wow, what a start score for the Tigers. We keep talking about, you know, the Gators, the hottest team in the regular season, maybe the favorites, the #1 team, Oklahoma. LSU just churning through this meet. They're in great position right now.
Well, LSU had their lowest bar score since 2023 in the semifinals, so I think they came back and they're hungry to have the bar rotation that we know that they can do.
Let's look at that beam dismount one more time.
And again, her hand that sprained is pressure on the beam. So I think she didn't push very hard off that hand, and then she didn't push very hard on the leg and couldn't quite get the height she needed for the rotation.
Mary Jo, hold up a 1 or a 2. You think that's a 2? On that Addison Feda beam left. We got a 2 on that one as well. Ashley Cowan, left hand of your screen. Can she build on a 9.925? This could be a big moment for the Tigers.
John, I think she can. She's going to do a double layout dismount. This dismount is very precise. We say sticks are contagious.
She needed a little bit more juice from the semifinal, and she did.
Tiger Nation is feeling it. This is a moment that is happening right now. Addison Feda, they nailed her on that dismount. 9.7375. Florida is opened with 2.9825s. Not bad, but not when you're comparing it to what LSU is doing right now on bars. All right, pressure on. Oklahoma certainly capable of putting up 5 9-9s in a row. If you're my son's soccer team, what you say right now is the next 5. The next 5 is all that matters. They're going to want to erase that 9.7375.
Well, Oklahoma's head coach, KJ Kindler, was really bragging about how good their hit percentage is in the gym. So, no.
And we have got a moment at this championship. The team in the lead, the #1 team in the country with a major break. Now, how do they react? They're going to count that Feda score. The question is, what do they do from here on out? Brooklyn Rowreed Right hand of your screen from Minnesota. Could this be an opportunity for the Gophers?
Well, Brooklyn starting off with a nice flying high straddle jump.
Kira finishing that handspring layout, series. But John, you mentioned it. The issue here isn't the fall. It's that they're going to have to count that 9-7 in the lineup. And we haven't finished the rest of the 4 athletes. So there's a lot more pressure on the back half of this lineup now.
A lot of coaches encourage their athletes to not watch the scores. And I'm curious if the rest of the athletes on the OU lineup saw that fall and are really feeling that pressure.
Oh, they saw it. They know what just happened right there. Unless they're living in a igloo somewhere, they've got to feel that intensity.
When I was competing, I would turn around and not watch my teammates.
It's tough though, Allie, in this situation. You hear every moment, and there it is again.
And her back hip was just twisted. She didn't get her back heel down on the beam to save that at all, really landing on one leg there.
Oh, big moment for the Gators as well. MJ Frazier, tough vault. One of the toughest vaults being done in women's collegiate gymnastics right here, and she's going to have to execute at a high level.
The goal for her is to be patient on the twist. Yurchenko double full. She actually cranked it off the table, but was able to twist so fast, she put it to her feet.
Let's go over to Bars and Taylor.
Maddie Ulrich getting going for LSU. Allie, you mentioned Oklahoma athletes trying not to really lock into that fall. The same could be said about these other teams. LSU need not pay attention to what these other teams are doing. Bars gave them some trouble in semifinals. As much momentum as can be taken, they have to stay locked in.
That's right, Taylor. It's so much easier said than done, John. As you mentioned, even if you're not wanting to watch, you can hear the crowd gasping, and it can be really disorienting and distracting.
Ulrich following 2 9.925s. And that's the biggest break of their whole bar rotation. 3 athletes in is that hop.
Just could be a half a 10th hop right there. Great handstand position, vertical on top of the bar. The judges will like that.
9.05 for Kira Wells. They're going to count the 9-7, 3-7-5 is Oklahoma, as we talked about. Celebrations all around for the LSU Tigers over there on bars, but the focus on Ella Murphy. She was here a year ago to watch the Sooner team win. And now as a freshman, could the fortunes of the team be riding on her beam routine at this very moment?
Well, head coach KJ Kindler said that she could tell Ella Murphy was really nervous at the semifinal day, and they had a lead going into beam, and she said she's a great competitor, so I trust her, and there's a lot of trust in Ella Murphy stepping up right now. Solid back handspring layout. She just needs to stay focused, stay in the moment.
And Sam, I think no matter how many times you practice for this moment, it is impossible to emulate how you're going to feel when you have this pressure situation. But Ella is like a pro, handling the pressure so well.
Had a great season on this event, ranking the top 10 nationally.
Well, the biggest difference between elite gymnastics and college is that you're competing with your team, so you feel the vibes. And right now, Oklahoma needs a vibe change. Didn't quite be as aggressive, putting her head back on that ring jump. And now she's probably thinking, I got to get off the beam. This is a really good beam routine, getting Oklahoma back on track. And you can see immediately the vibe has shifted in the corral for Oklahoma gymnastics.
And Sam and John, I could see during that routine, the gymnasts that are going up next, their back is turned to the beam. They're pacing, not watching the beam routine, which I did the same thing when I was competing.
You nailed it, Allie. I would have to probably remove myself as well. Ella Murphy, gotta think, maybe the biggest routine she's ever done in her young career as a junior athlete and a collegiate athlete, comes through big time. 3 more to go for Oklahoma on beam, 3 more to go for Florida on vault. MJ Frazier at 9.875. Again, controlled landings. If they can get a couple sticks, as Sam said, that would be huge right here.
Doing a Yurchenko 1.5. This is a blind landing. Gotta bend your knees. Oh man, just big vaults, but also a big hop in the air, on the ground as well.
Ulrich a 9.8875. Kaylin Chio, the only event she's not gotten a 10 on.
Well, that first handstand was a good start. Kaylin struggled on this dismount in the semifinals, said she's feeling the bounce of the bar is off. Right here, a big release move. Watch her elbow positions, nice and straight. She has to tap under the bar and hold on a little bit longer. No issues today, wow. Will could take off half a tenth because
That's
it's like her
interesting.
heels were gripping the mat.
That's interesting. She held it for the required amount of time, but she moved a little bit. Mary Jo, what are your thoughts?
I think maybe an 0.5 on that additional trunk movement in her upper body.
Just to finish.
Opens back handspring layout. And, you know, the interesting thing is when I was chatting with associate head coach Lou Ball yesterday, he said Lily Peterson is the athlete that could really show some improvements. There were some areas in the semifinals, and she has had herself a day so far. Could this be 3 for 3 for her in terms of fullest potential? Good job absorbing the beam. You want to land slightly with bent knees so that it helps you stay balanced. Finishing double full, and she hangs on to that stick. And you can see the Oklahoma athletes going crazy right now. They feel how critical each of these beam routines are to the lineup.
Man, you could see Lily's face too as she was holding on to that stick. It was as serious as you can be until she turned to the judges, and then the exuberance came.
Kaylin and her face almost matched each other in terms of their intensity.
2 more to go for OU. Florida's vault, that's the event that has haunted them a little bit this season. They're going to have to go big here with Danny Ferris and 2 vaulters to go.
Be steady.
Oh, and that is what you don't want to do.
That is really not great. Of course, you have that under rotation, which is up to 1/10, and then the step in addition to that under rotation deduction.
We've seen vaults like that throughout this championship, and most of the time those vaults end up being in the 9.7s. We'll see what the judges do. Still 4 scores in the 9.8s. They could finish with a big one. Selena Harris-Miranda can stick big. Here we are on bars with Courtney Blackson now in the 5 spot.
Courtney was not in the competition in the semifinals. Coach Jay Clark told me he was going to decide after the warm-up who was going to go in. Great shoot over right in that handstand position. Now this right here, the same release move we just saw from Kaylin Chio. Watch the height that she gets.
Beautiful.
Catches it with elbows extended.
I think that's the best one I've seen her do.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Sam.
So close. That was one of the best routines I've seen her do, just that half a 10th hop.
And that will end Courtney Blackson's career as a gymnast. And it was an unlikely finish. Jay Clark found her on a trip to Idaho, said she had a year left of eligibility, brought her in, and that moment, it paid off.
And she actually took an entire year off of gymnastics. So for her to be back here, contributing like this for LSU at the national championships is remarkable.
Lily Peterson, a 9.95. Let's go to Taylor.
Elle Miller getting started here on beam, and she told me this week when she was being recruited, when she thought of Oklahoma Gymnastics, she thought of beam. She told me she realizes she is living out her dream most when competing on beam for the Sooners. Huge opportunity for her with some difficulties early in this lineup.
Well, is it going to be a dream or is it going to be a nightmare? Because she's got to hit. Ariana Ostrom from Minnesota, right hand of your screen. 9-9. Bogdan Sorowski right before her. Need more of that.
You know, I saw a wobble from Elle Miller after that full turn, and you know, it's not good to have a wobble, but sometimes I can almost see it clicked in her brain. Okay, I got to be aggressive on the rest of my skills, and no issues on her series.
Ariana opening up with a beautiful double back.
So much pressure on Elle right now. You can see her squeezing on every landing. You can't let any doubt get in. This is such a mental event. Got to stick the landing. And she does.
And Ariana doing that back layout step out reminds me of the 92 Olympic era of gymnastics. It's so breathtaking to watch. Well, Ariana, that's going to be a big score. I'm going to guess that's the biggest score of the day for Minnesota on floor.
Nicely done there for Minnesota. Over to vault now. Selena Harris-Miranda. We saw LSU go through their vault rotation with no scores in the 9-9s. And then Kaylin Chio came up. Well, Selena Harris-Miranda, she can stick about the second best vault in the country after Chio needs to do it right here.
Yurchenko 1.5. Incredible air awareness. Close.
Very
close. And that could be a 9-9 score around that range. But I still don't know if that's enough, even though they are going to their best event next.
Connor McLean now for LSU in the anchor spot. And in her final routine as a gymnast, 9.9125. What a job for her. Now, Elle Miller, a 9.8625. Still a good score, but when you're counting a 9, scoring the 9.7s, you don't want to count a 9.8. You're hoping for all 9.9s. Faith Torres, certainly capable of that. She scored a perfect 10 here. She's about as good as anyone on this event.
But there is so much pressure riding on this beam routine. But what we know about Faith is that she's a really loose and light competitor. So if there's someone you want going in this anchor spot, it's Faith Torres. She was one of 7 athletes to be named as an AAI award finalist, basically the Heisman in gymnastics. Been so productive for this Oklahoma team throughout her time here. And guess what, guys? She wants another national championship to finish her career on. Let's see if she can get the landing.
Ice in her vein. You said light and loose, Sam. I beg to differ. A lion, vicious. Faith Torres will not be denied. Jordan Lydon finishing off a good floor rotation for Minnesota. A pair of 9.9s. Can she add a third?
Jordan tied for 4th on floor at these national championships. She's going to end with a round off 2.5. Watch her elbows and knee position as she finishes the round off. Will help give her extra speed into the round, into the 2.5.
Get this, guys. Jordan Lydon with a 9.9 right here will move Minnesota into 3rd ahead of the Gators.
I think she's going to get a 9.9 or higher. I didn't see any visible landing deductions in that routine. We'll see what the judges thought about the jumps and the leaps.
I'm just looking at the LSU-Oklahoma score. Did you notice that it's less than 1/10 of a difference heading into the last